Welcome to Guelph White Wrestle. I am Andrew Sennedra. This is the guy who wears this goofy stuff, cats and witch fingers, and we're doing our top 10 wrestlers, singles wrestlers of 2024. So I had a lot of interesting things here. I had a lot of people who just missed out on the list. My top 10 were, I guess you can call them honorable mentions, but I have a whole bunch of different individuals that I was like, oh, they're just kind of missed. TJP, had a really good year as a singles wrestler and a tag wrestler. He had a really awesome Best of Super Juniors. He even tried to get his way into the G1 Climax. So I actually had him up there for a little bit, but he kind of got pushed down because of some other guys having a really good ending, and a guy like Ricochet coming into AEW at the end of the year and having a great end of the year. Claudio Castagnoli was somebody who surprised me. Yeah. He kind of really climbed. I don't know if I'd say just missed, but he really surprised me. He kind of started going back to his early days when he had hair in ROH. So I was, and I liked his mood and the different moves that he's doing in matches, changing things up. So he was a guy who surprised me quite a bit. Hangman and his craziness, kind of, got him close to the list for me as well, his personality. Shingo had many good matches as well. Shingo Takagi in Japan, he had some really good wars and things like that. So he was pretty close. But my honorable mention, I guess, the guy who made it the closest was Jeff Cobb. He was the guy who just missed like that top 10 spot for me. He was really in my list for quite a while. He had some really solid matches, especially in the TV title when he had that, the New Japan Cup. Him and Yota Tsuji had some good match there, and the G1 as well. So he's doing his honorable mentions in a different spot. So I will just go directly to, I guess, my number 10. We'll be working our way up to number 1. I have Ricochet. He climbed up into that spot just past Cobb because he had a really good ending to the year. Him being in the Continental Classic, I think, really changed and my mind and pushed him up. He had so many good matches, especially with Will Osprey, especially that last match. Yeah, he was. They had some really good stuff going between the two of them.
Okay, so my first one on my list is Black Taurus. He's like a funny character. He's like always he's like a fantasy character. He doesn't quite speak English. He's like grunting, making noises.
Quite speak English? I don't think that's even a language.
He's like breathing really heavy. He's like grunting. He's like staring at you. He's like funny. He's got in the ring. He's like phenomenal. He's doing like things that like he shouldn't be able to do with his size. He's like doing like these crazy spins, the dives, like aerials,
the tornadoes, sky twister presses, and then you had the power moves to it.
Yeah, and the creativity to his moves. He doesn't just do like a simple power bomb, He do like a cool power bomb into it, like a backbreaker kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that like sort of torture rack backbreaker thing that he does. Well, that's really impressive.
So that's all I got. My list is in no particular order.
So it's kind of 10, but you said Black Taurus. Yeah. He's called the Beast Mortos now, and I have the Beast Mortos at number 9. You kind of covered everything. Yeah, his athleticism for his size is really uncanny. I like his power. Obviously is something. His cardio I find is really good too. He can go at a pretty good clip for a good amount of time and stay pretty solid. And I don't know how well he sees out of that damn mask, but he wrestles pretty good for a guy wearing a mask. Though that is how constrictive it is to his, his view, I'm sure. But yeah, really solid guy. That I got at number 9. I guess your guy's kind of at number
9. So my next one is Darby Allen. Like this guy is like really creative. He comes out with like a pin face. He's got like all these spikes all over his face. Thumbtacks. Yeah. And like he's always putting his body on a line, like like he's gonna like half darn near kill himself like in a match, always get wasted. So he makes the match interesting. Like even if his opponent sucks, he'll make it interesting, but like darn near killing himself. Like I remember like Christian Cage, no offense, like Christian Cage, he darn near killed himself on the match and made Christian look like a devilly bastard kind of thing, right? Like just from like the amount of pain that he's willing to take on kind of thing. Yeah. And he has some good rivalries with Brody King throughout the years as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Moving on to my, what is that? 8. Commander skyrocketed into my list because he had a really good end of the year. The Continental Classic, I'm sure, kind of helped him out. He had some amazing matches in ROH, and that what really shot him up for me to that spot was the survival of the fittest 6-way match at Final Battle for ROH. That was a great match. Him and Blake Christian at the end of that match were just on fire in there. And I was like, oh crap, yeah, Commander shot up because of that match. In my opinion, is what really catapulted him up at least to that 8th spot. That's why I shot him up. Amazing athleticism, very creative. Obviously walking the ropes and things like that.
Yeah, that's right enough. I also have Commander on my list. That guy's like an aerial ninja, man. Like, he just flies through the tightrope like it's like nothing kind of thing, right? And I remember him in like a 4-way on like AEW with like some guys. I'm just like, wow, like this. Every match this guy's in, he just like goes and makes it interesting. Like he doesn't even need a character. You don't even need to know who he is. But then when you see him in the ring, you're just like glued on. You're like, holy crap, this guy just like. What the frick is he doing? He's like flying left, he's like flying right.
Kind of like Ninja Mac. It's always something out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And I like that he doesn't do like everything every match. He doesn't walk that rope and do it every single match because it would take away from the spectacularness of that move.
Yeah, use it selectively, If you do it every match, it kind of gets stale, even as great as that is.
Yeah. And then I'm moving on to, I got a Japanese guy, well not a Japanese guy, but he's in New Japan. I got Hanare. I love his character. I love the intensity that he's bringing. The hard-headed, the face of fury that he is. He had some really good matches throughout the whole G1. His whole year was really impressive. I really kind of looked at him coming up into this spot for me because of the Shingo Takagi wars that he had for the Never Openweight Championship. Those two just bludgeoned each other and had some great matches in between that rivalry. I don't know if it was even that intense of a rivalry because they respected each other so much, but I really liked that. And I liked what he was able to do kind of throughout New Japan and wrestling different guys and putting on really good matches, not just hard hitting, but power, athleticism, and those headbutts. He's flying body sausage headbutts that he does to everybody.
So my next one is Mox. He kind of sneaked into my list because usually I like people with like more wrestling ability. But I love the new style, the new Mox. He's like angry, He's trying to create a revolution. I know some people don't get it, but I get it, right? So like. He's trying to kill AEW, trying to rebuild it, trying to kill that goofiness.
It's called a revolution. That's what you do, right?
He like his change in era. Like I think at the beginning we were both like just kind of losing interest, and then he comes along. He's like attacking everybody. Like to us, it's a lot more interesting the way he is. He's like killing everybody. He's like, I don't care about like 5 guys in my faction. We'll take on everybody in AEW. I think he attacked like 2 or 3 factions at once,
Yeah.
So these are quite nuts.
I guess Mox is trying to change that sort of like silliness. Top flight were pilots with a stewardess. Like that didn't even last long, right? I think Mox was trying to kill off some of that stuff. Like go back to what AEW started as, a little more grit. So his cryptic attitude now is to tear it down and get rid of the silliness and start over. And I feel like that's also probably rubbed off on other guys. Like Pac had that in him, but I think that's helped Claudio's character personally.
Yeah, as well. I think he had some really good matches as well. Like he had like a wicked 3-way at the beginning in New Japan with Osprey and Finley kind of thing.
Okay.
So he's been good matches as well kind of thing.
Yeah. Moving on, I got Kyle Fletcher in my, what is that, number 5? No, that's 6. I got Kyle Fletcher at number 6. He shot up there because he's just had some really solid singles work. This last chunk of the year or so, turning on Osprey, I thought that was a really good move for him. Those two have had 2 really solid matches. One thing I've just always talked about Kyle Fletcher for the last 40 years probably, and saying when he was in Aussie Open that this guy goes singles, he's going to be awesome. His athleticism, his size gives him the power, but he's also slim enough that he can have a lot of athleticism. He's very creative with his moves. He's got that like sheer drop sort of brain buster on the turnbuckle that he cripples people with. I love the Aussie Arrow, that kick that he does. A lot of people do like big boots and those types of kicks, but he goes flying in there almost on like a 90-degree angle to kick you like right in the eyeball. So I really like Kyle Fletcher's overall ability and his character changing into this really tough, intense individual that is strong-willed, nasty, sort of Don Callis style.
Yeah, funny enough, I also have like Fletcher like next on my list, and like you mentioned like most of the stuff I was thinking of, but yeah, like you mentioned, yeah, great intercontinental or continental classic kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like I like the evil turn. I like also like he bulked up a bit because like I think he was like a bit skinnier throughout the year, and then you see him like gradually get bigger and.
Yeah, I definitely noticed. Yeah, his shoulders, his chest and stuff. He put on some weight.
And then as he got stronger, like I think he added like bigger power moves.
Yeah.
And then I love like that when you mentioned like the brainbuster onto like the turnbuckle, and then like I think he like scraped the shit out of like Osprey's back and went above him. He was like, ah, my back.
I think that was their first match, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere it wasn't a tag match or something. Yeah, that was gnarly.
So yeah, he's got some cool nasty moves that are like
Yeah. So my number 5 is going to be Darby Allen. He said most of what I was going to say. Very innovative guy. Obviously boosts people up with his matches, like you said about Christian. Like he can make them interesting. I know a lot of people say he has like this death wish and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's his fucking body. Look at Jun Kasai. That guy looks way worse. That guy's body is like a living scar. It is absolutely brutal, that guy. But Darby Allen, he's creative. He brings a lot of mystery. You don't really know what he's gonna do, and the type of he can work with so many people. We know how well he can work on the ground and do a bit more high-paced stuff, hard-hitting. And I like when he wins against bigger guys like Brody King. He kind of got to cheat a little bit. And it's smart. It's not like, oh, I'm this weak, smaller guy like Punk, and I'm just going to win clean. He's like, well, no, just because I'm a face doesn't mean I gotta do this to beat the guy. I can't beat Brody King any other way. Which showed, Brody King was able to beat him. That was a really great rivalry between those two. I don't know if it was really a rivalry, but because I think there was respect there, but they had a really good showing between each other. And then the blood and guts match, I remember I thought Darby had the best showing out of the blood and guts match. Everything he did in that match was really interesting. A lot of crazy stuff hanging from the cage, falling through. I think it was Jack Perry he fell through.
He's a flamethrower.
Yeah, he's gonna flamethrow the damn guys. Yeah, it was wild. Well, yeah, Darby Allen at number 5 for me.
So my next one on my list is Ricochet. He came into AEW pretty hot, I like his rivalry with Osprey, where like those two are going at it. They're both like aerial assassins. They're both like flippy floppy, like killing each other kind of thing.
Very high paced guys going toe to toe.
Yeah, he had a great tournament match. And I'm really looking forward to his rivalry with Swerve, because like we've seen them in Lucha Underground. I know those two guys can go, so like that should be like a great rivalry in the incoming year. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. It's nice to kind of see some of these Lucha Underground guys crossing paths again and see how they evolved from those years back in Lucha Underground. My number 4, the man. Well, he'd be the man. I guess he was number 1. So he's at number 4. Yota Tsuji. I just love his presence, his character, that evil grin. I don't even know if it's evil, but he just grins at people. He's stepped it up. He had a really solid New Japan Cup, won that, went to the finals of the G1 Climax, had some great G1 Climax matches. Him versus Takeshita was awesome. He just had so many awesome moments in New Japan this year, and he's elevating up so many different ways. He's adding I noticed he's adding a couple little moves, little new twists and nuances, so he's kind of moving up. His persona's taking on more. He's cutting more deeper promos or deeper segments and things like that, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to be doing soon in the Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty coming up.
So my next one is Zack Sabre, the new champ in New Japan.
Yeah.
He had a really great G1. And man, this guy making submission like great again, like before, like every submissions, like it lost its value. Like everybody's gonna grab the rope or they're gonna counter, but like he finishes you. Like he had like a bunch of tournament wins, like with his.
And it's not even the same. Like it's just grabbing different things. It's not even like a figure 4 or sharpshooter, a specific submission. Right?
Yeah, and he really lives up to like that moniker of like Dean Malenko, like man of 1,000 moves. This guy probably got like a million moves,
Yeah,
like,
he actually does live up to the moniker of that.
Like he counters and counters. He counters punches with kicks. Like, what the hell?
He counters punches with kicks, and he counters kicks with punches.
And then, man, one thing I love is like his neck breakers. You know, like I can see him like an action movie. You know, you just get everybody he like touches their neck with his feet. You know, like break this guy's neck. You know, break that guy's neck. You know,
he's always working necks too. He is a magician. That's why I have him at number 3. I called him the what did I call him? The magician of moves, the sultan of submissions. You know, he's just uncanny wrestler. Like you said, he won in G1 Climax in so many different ways. The counters are ridiculous. What we've seen him counter. I've seen him counter a DDT, just slips out. And Shingo just bails on his back. He's like, what the hell just happened? And it was like, you never know what he's going to do. Like, he might kick you right in the face because he doesn't know where you're going, and Tomohiro Ishii just has to eat that kick. But he's a really exciting guy to watch. He's making submissions great again. Working the limbs. He's always really impressive. And just his ability to, like, sell and make guys look good. He makes guys look good with his selling, kind of like Omega and Osprey do. He can even work well with like aerial guys like Osprey. It's because he moves quick enough. He doesn't need to do high flying stuff to make the match exciting. It's just his movements of what allowing can do, countering into like guys doing elbow drops. He's countering into like arm bars. It's just it's amazing how slick this guy is. It's absolutely one of a kind. I think, in my opinion, it could be higher, but I don't know. I got him at 3.
So my next one, I think it was on your honorable mentions list. Is got Cowboy, man. That guy's crazy. He's literally gone batshit crazy. You know, he's like. He's like running around, he's attacking anybody. Anyone ever crosses them, you know.
Set their house on fire.
Yeah, set their house on fire. He's like, I don't care if you're 50 years old, I'll beat you up, Jeff Jarrett. And then that rivalry with Swerve, it was nuts, man. Like they darn near like broke each other's back, you know, slamming you guys on like cement bricks, you know. Yeah, cement bricks were not breaking, breaking.
Yeah, that cage match was quite intense. There's a lot of people whining about it too.
Yeah, I know some people, you know, didn't like it. It was too hardcore, but like to us, like, man, that rivalry, and like even before that, you know, like they had like he's like strangling with the chains and just like, man. That was
too
like
hardcore. They've never seen deathmatch wrestling, have they?
This was the next level, you know, that pushed them onto my list. And then that's why I wanted to segue to my honorable mention, which was Swerve, that didn't quite, but like he also had an amazing rivalry with Hangman as well.
Oh, okay, so it kind of segues into that perfectly. Going on, this was kind of tricky for me, 1 and 2. I have Konosuke Takeshita at number 2. He was number 1 for a very long time for me, but he slipped to number 2, so that means the obvious guy is probably coming up. But Takeshita, really, really solid year. Damn, this guy makes a lot of people look good. Makes a lot of matches exciting, even in just tag matches. I thought he made Hobbs look really good in the tag match when Hobbs returned. Excellent G1 going over there. Fucking badass. Tore it up. Best performer in the G1. So many awesome moments. We have a video that we did on G1, and I have a bunch of highlights, and then mostly of Takeshita doing it with his matches with like Yota Tsuji and El Phantasmo. That was El Phantasmo's probably best match, not only in G1, but that I've seen from El Phantasmo in a couple of years. I think that was his best match, was with Takeshita in the G1. So he is just elevating people whenever they wrestle him. Elevate. Well, he doesn't have to elevate Osprey, but obviously his matches with Osprey and Mike Speedball Bailey, they had a great match in Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, which is a new promotion up here in Canada. They had a great match. I think he also had a great match with like Josh Alexander as well. It was like, holy crap, just constantly. His athleticism, his durability, cardio, power moves, innovation. Out of this world. Can't wait to see more of Konosuke Takeshita.
Yeah, and then my next on my list is like
Konosuke.
It's my top 2. It's like my 1A and 1B, and then I also have Takeshita on my list.
See,
you already said like almost everything was like that, but I want to emphasize that G1. Holy crap! I just realized like, man, A Star Is Born. Like even like the commentators, they were telling a story of like how Takeshita he applied for application for New Japan, but he was too young at the time.
Wasn't he like 9 years old?
He was like super young, he's like, New Japan is my dream, and then when he gets there, he just tore the roof off. You can see like the passion like of wrestling in New Japan that like, holy crap, almost every match, I'm just like,
except
wow.
for David Finlay.
Yeah,
David Finlay sucked him down.
But like just every match, I'm just like glued to my seat. It's like I want to see more. I'm just like, who is this guy? It's just like, man, he had a great year, and then G1 just like.
Yeah, I liked how in the G1 he was able to not only complement who he was wrestling by like whatever style they did, but kept to his style. It was like he didn't just, if I'm facing Cobb, I'm not just going to do power. I will use my athleticism and I will use my power against other guys who I'm doing more athletic stuff against, like ELP, right? So he was able to work in his own stuff, but also complement the other guys. And considering he wrestled those guys for the first time,
he
wrestled a lot of those guys for the first time, no hiccups, cohesive. I was like, man, he has a mind. Clearly, watches guys and sets things up really well. Very, very smart wrestler, I think, as well.
I also love his power moves. Like, it's really like that elbow he does. It
World-class elbow.
It literally looks like he's like knocking everybody out. He's like, oh man, that guy's knocked out. Oh fuck, that guy's knocked out too. And then I love his Blue Thunder Bomb where like he just fucking like spins you with emphasis and like slams you.
The Burning Hammer is new. I think the Burning Hammer. It was showcased in the G1.
His new finisher.
So obviously you're going to sit there and go, how did he get beat out? But Will Osprey did beat him out, and that is only because of World's End. It was only because of the matches he had. Really, it was Kyle Fletcher versus Osprey. I had him and Takeshita right there, but it was Osprey versus Fletcher at World's End that pushed him up for me because I had them so close. And Osprey, again, same type of wrestler as Takeshita. One thing that is interesting is I would say is like his athleticism more and aerial, but his still ability to do power moves is really impressive to lift some of the guys he does, whether he's doing the Styles Clash, the Power Bomb, the Liger Bomb, what was that, the Storm Breaker, not the Storm Breaker, Storm Driver, a lot of different, so many moves that he could beat you with. I think he had 5 finishers basically, so many different things that he's able to do, and I just like that he's able to do the power stuff, and I feel like his character has come out even more. It was really showed up in New Japan, especially when he was leaving, but it's showing up even more here. He's cutting more angry, intense promos. He's getting more invested, more emotional, and sucking people in. Very impressive individual. One thing I do want to mention is that Dog Pound Steel cage match that he had on his last match in New Japan was just mind-blowing. So that was to be in there for over an hour. He was in that match. Finlay started. Like that was pretty gnarly, and then the match was gnarly. We're going to be doing a video on that match in the future. So Osprey at number 1, he just edged out Takeshita.
Yeah, I also have Osprey at last on my list. Man, what can I say? The aerial assassin, and that match. Holy shit! I think that's one of my best favorite matches. That cage match. With all that madness, Hanare nearly dies and
Don't spoil too much. We gotta talk about this later.
So much happened on that match. It was insane, and then it's crazy. At the end of the match, you can feel the love and passion from New Japan, or I guess from Japan. For Osprey,
when fans, you mean?
Yeah, when they're chanting his theme music at the end when he's walking out, and they were screaming, Osprey, Osprey, just holy frick, this guy,
There's a different energy there.
Yeah, he transcends the fans, love him, he's speaking Japanese. I'm just
I am not Japanese.
This guy is awesome. You feel he really pours his love and his passion into wrestling. He's very creative as well. Like you said, he's 5 finishers, so you never know how he's gonna finish somebody, or is that even the finish? Because he's got so many.
And then he uses other people's finishers as well.
Yeah, exactly, right? So
I'll finish you with this.
It keeps this match really interesting, and really you're really into it, and it's just it's really good.
Yeah, he's an extremely well-rounded wrestler. A very high arsenal of weapons. Maybe not as high as Zack Sabre, but he's definitely up there, especially when it comes to signature moves and stuff like that. So that is our top 10 singles wrestlers of 2024. We got really into it, really extreme lists and things like that. Let us know what you think of our list, and who your top 10s are. We usually don't have too many people that let us know who their top 10 wrestlers are, but it'd be interesting to see how how somebody else sees those wrestlers or what they watch and how they what their perspective was and their favorite type of styles are. You can kind of guess what our favorite style is. So until next time, folks, how about some heavy wrestling?